What's up, everybody? On Friday, I finally uploaded my top 10 SMG video that I kept promising I was going to upload, so I have that link down in the description if you missed that, or if you want to go check that out, that is linked down below. I also promised top 10 long-range options and then top 10 sniper supports, so I'm going to go and get the long-range options knocked out today, and we're going to jump right into my top 10 ARs and LMGs. Just like the SMG video, I'm going to go through the 10 and their loadouts, and then I'll jump over to True Game Data just to compare some numbers for those that are interested. So let's go ahead and jump into these ARs and LMGs. Okay, and this one's going to be a little controversial, but all the way down at number 10, we are starting with the Automaton. I know this is a lot of people's favorites. I know a lot of people run this, but the time to kill is just not very competitive. When you're starting to run into this time to kill, now you're starting to come close to the Kilo and some other bottom tier weapons. I think you're still better than like the AN94, but you're starting to come into the bottom of the list. But where this thing excels is it is a little bit faster than the bottom of the list Cold War and Modern Warfare guns. And it's got 75 round drums, and it's got 10 attachments, so that sneaks it on the list over everything else, and it's just very popular, so I couldn't not put this on the list. The loadout I use, and I think what most people use, is the MX silencer, the ZAC 600mm BFA barrel, the M1941 hand stop, the 75 round 6.5 Sakura drums, the lengthened ammo, your choice of optic. I like the 3 to 6 times. I know a lot of people like the G16 2.5X. Polymer grip, Anastasia padded, tight grip, and either fully loaded or on hand. Once again, on hand gives you the faster ADS speed now. I know some people run the Anastasia sniper barrel. I don't like it as much. The 600mm barrel takes most of your horizontal recoil out, especially when you compare it with tight grip and the hand stop and the MX silencer. Number 9 is the AMAX. The AMAX never really went anywhere, just better things came out, especially with Cold War. But the AMAX is in a decent place. It'd probably be a little bit higher on this list because its time to kill is a little bit higher than number 9 on this list. But it's a slower moving Modern Warfare gun. It's got a slower rate of fire, so it's less forgiving. And of all the guns on this list, it's number 1 or number 2 in recoil. Even though it really doesn't have all that much, it does have a lot compared to a lot of guns on this list. And it's the same old build it's always been. The monolithic suppressor, Zodiac barrel, VOK 3x optic with the T-bows if you have it, Commando foregrip, and the 45 round mag. It's the same build it's always been. Number 8. I had to move this way down the list. All of these are viable options, and you'll be fine with every option on this list. But the AK's nerfs at the beginning of Season 3 did hurt it. I still think it's a really good AR. I still like running it. It's still a fun gun. But it's another gun, slow rate of fire. A lot better recoil than the AMAX, but the time to kill is just not as competitive as it once was. And it's the same build it's always been. Grew suppressor, Spetsnaz RPK barrel, Spetsnaz grip, axial arms 3 times, and magazine, it's the 60 round mag. Number 7 is the Vargo. The Vargo, another gun, which, by the way, I don't know what happened to my ferro fluid blueprint. There's just this blueprint in there that's labeled as Vargo. But when you change all the attachments, those are all the ferro fluid attachments except the Task Force barrel. So I don't really know what happened there. But it's the same build as all Cold War guns. It also got a nerf. It got a recoil nerf. And the recoil is a little bit more difficult, but not very hard. Still a really good time to kill, so it easily makes this list. Grew suppressor, Task Force barrel, Spetsnaz grip, Spetsnaz 60 round, and axial arms 3 times. Well, my ferro fluid blueprint. Number 6 is the Farah. The Farah still might be the best overall because it's got very easy to control recoil, but its time to kill is not as competitive as other guns on this list. And so it's at number 6. I could put it anywhere on this list and be happy with it. But once again, it's a Grew suppressor, Spetsnaz RPK barrel, Spetsnaz grip, 60 round mag, and axials 3 times. You know those Cold War guns all follow the exact same formula, all named the same. Number 5 is the DP. I went back and forth putting it higher on this list. This is especially good on Rebirth. I don't know if it has a drop-off on Rebirth. We'll see when we go to True Game Data. Or it's got a very far drop-off. Not as good on Caldera with the 300 health, but really good on Rebirth. Still a solid option on Caldera. So it's going to be middle of the pack on this list. It's the MX silencer, the 680mm barrel, hand stop as usual, the 105 round pan with the lengthened ammo as usual. Your choice of optic again, the usual polymer grip. The Empress VZV barrel, stock does give you the best recoil control of any of the stocks. And then if you crouch or prone out, it gives you even more. Hard scope for recoil control, and then either fully loaded or on hand. Number 4, the MG82. It still ranks really high on this list. If it had easier to recoil, it would probably rank even higher. Probably be number 1. It's by far the best TTK on this list, especially in the closer ranges. It's got the advantages of being a Cold War gun, so it's got better movement, ADS speed than its other LMG counterparts in the game. And so, really solid option. If the recoil was a little bit better, and it wasn't an LMG, it would be top of this list. And once again, Agent Suppressor, Task Force Barrel, Field Agent Grip, Axe Arms 3 times. And then there's a few different options. I like the Fast Mag because 75 rounds is enough. You can also go in the 125 round mag. Neither of those will hurt your ADS. Or if 75 is enough and you don't care about the quicker reload, go with like the Airborne Elastic Wrap for your best aim down sight time and flinch resistance. You can also do the Serpent Wrap. Aim down sight time's not as fast, but it's close, and you only get your sprint to fire hurt instead of your firing move speed and your ADS firing move speed. Number 3 on this list is the XM4. The XM4 got a buff and a nerf at the same time as Season 3, but it is one of the best long-range weapons, and according to the likes of True Game Data, JGOD, it is a better range weapon after its change at the beginning of Season 3. It's Agent Suppressor, Task Force Barrel, Field Agent Grip, 60 round mag, Axial Arms 3 times, just like always. Number 2 on the list, I never thought I'd see the day, but it's the BAR. It's like the MG82, it's got one problem that keeps it number 1, often being number 1 on this list. This 30 round mag, which makes it as good as it does. If it had 50 or 60 rounds, it would be number 1 on this list. 30 is just not enough, and it can be hard to run in trios and quads. But the time to kill is really fast on this gun. This build has literally like 0 recoil. If it had a bigger mag, it would be by far number 1. Because I like it more than LMG. So the MG82, even without the recoil, wouldn't beat this for number 1 for me. The MX silencer as usual. The hand stops as usual. So is the lengthened. Your choice of optic. Did not mean surplus. Want fully loaded. And the fully loaded on hand as usual. Polymer as usual. The recoil gets helped from the polymer, the MX silencer, the hand stop, as well as this 30 round mag. It does decrease your damage or bullet velocity in your range, but it pretty much eliminates a lot of your recoil. It increases your fire rate, helps your ADS speed. The BMG mags just kick all over the place, and I don't want to reduce my ammo by 10 using the 20 round fast mag. So it's got enough bullets you can down 2 people realistically on rebirth. 1, maybe 2 if you hit all your best shots on Caldera. So you just really run out of ammo. Otherwise, it's top tier. This barrel is extreme. Controls recoil extremely well, both horizontal and vertical. That barrel's ridiculously good, and the combination gives it no recoil at all with a pretty fast time to kill. And then number 1 is the STG. The STG, I just cleared it, so we're going to build it together. There's really one way. There's 2 ways to run it, the only difference being a mag. MX silencer and 760 barrel are a must. The underbarrel, you can run Carver. I think the hand stop is superior. I use it on all my long range. Where the difference comes is the 7.62 50 round gives it so it has like absolutely no recoil at all, just like the BAR. The problem is it doesn't kill very fast, and you gotta use like all 50 bullets, and I just don't like the way it feels. The 60 does have a little more recoil, but it's not hard to control at all, and it kills a decent amount faster. Plus, you have 10 more bullets. Lengthened like usual. Your choice of optic. The blueprint has the 2.5. I don't like the 2.5, and I think it's even worse on the blueprint. I stick with the usual 3 to 6 on my builds. Rear grip is going to be the polymer like always to reduce that recoil. Weighted stock. Some people run the precision because it helps your ADS speed, and that is what's on the blueprint. But the weighted does help your recoil control more and helps you get that no recoil. Some people want to run vital. It doesn't increase your time to kill. Focus is actually broken to where it doesn't work at all. And so really you choose between sleight of hand and acrobatic, and I'm going to take the move speed over the slightly faster reload. And then perk 2, once again, is either fully loaded or on hand. Especially if you're going to weighted stock and you're worried about ADS being hurt, definitely run the on hand if you don't want to run the fully loaded. But that's the top 10 range options, in my opinion, right now. Any one of these lists you'll be perfectly fine with. You'll be perfectly competitive with any on the list. I really think the STG and the BAR are the best. Solos, duos, BAR, STG, solos through quads, probably your best option. MG82 is definitely your best LMG. Those are the loadouts. For if you just wanted the loadouts, wanted to see the top 10 guns, I appreciate you watching. I would love if everyone stuck around for the stats, but I'm going to go ahead and jump over to True Game Data and just look at some numbers really quick before I wrap up this video. Alright, so you can see here, I have all of them loaded in True Game Data with anything that adds range, or adds or takes away damage. Didn't worry about recoil attachments, just like in my SMG video. Right now I have it set on Rebirth full plates, and chest shots. Rebirth's the most popular mode. Chest shots are probably your most common shots. So if you look, the MG82, it drops off pretty hard at about 31 meters, but its time to kill is the best of all of the range options that I presented today up until that drop off, and then it's only beaten by the STG until 46 meters, and then this STG drops off fairly hard, goes middle of the pack, and the MG82 is still the best to infinity. So that's why the MG82, as like I said, if it had less recoil and it wasn't an LMG, it'd be by far number one. But it is an LMG, and it does have a decent amount of recoil. I'll go ahead and knock that out of here just so you can see better. The STG, number 2, also has the third farthest damage drop-off behind the Automaton, which is very good on the Automaton, and just slightly behind the DP. And then its time to kill drops off fairly middle of the pack, but after everything's dropped off, it's only beaten out by the BAR, which doesn't drop off, the Pharaoh, which also doesn't drop off at all on Rebirth, and then the MG82, which drops off and then beats it again. And so the STG is probably your best AR option. You can see the DP, it drops off pretty hard, which is why I said it's a lot better for Rebirth. But before its drop off, it's got one of the longest ranges, and it's got like the third fastest time to kill before its drop off. And then the other ones I really want to highlight here for Rebirth are the Bar and the Farah, which are pretty middle of the pack time to kill, even though the Farah, since it doesn't drop off, ends up taking a better role. But if you look, they have no damage drop-offs anywhere, on Rebirth at least. The problem is when you switch it over to Caldera, they're not as competitive, but Rebirth is the most popular mode. It's more what I'm geared towards anyways. And now you can see that we're over on Caldera with chest shots. The MG82 never loses to anything, and the AMAX actually takes over this number 2 spot by a little bit. But the MG82, even after its relatively short drop-off, is never beaten. And once again, so if it wasn't for it being a slow LMG and it having a lot of recoil, it would be the number 1. The Bar, not as recommended, like I said, on Caldera. Definitely more of a Rebirth gun as well. But even after its drop-off, it does have an early drop-off, but it's still really middle of the pack. And really beats out the Vargo after it drops off, the Automaton, the DP, which I mentioned wasn't very good in Caldera. And so still a really solid option. If you look, the STG's kind of lost here, but once again, still got that really far damage drop-off, and then it's only beat out by not even half these guns after it drops off. And then, so once again, the one gun that doesn't drop off at all is the Farah. I mean, this is up to 100 meters, and it doesn't have a drop-off. And you can see when we look at it, the Farah doesn't drop off, and it gets beaten early, but once everything drops off, you'll pay attention to the green line, and it's only getting beat out by a few weapons at the really long-range fights. Actually, it's only getting beat out by the MG82 after everything else drops off. So the Farah is still probably why I said it could be moved way farther up the list, and still a really good option. But that's all I got for you today. I'll link the True Game Data below if you want to check out the numbers for yourself. But thank you for watching. I appreciate any watch time, whether you skipped around, skipped to the end, watch the whole thing through. I really appreciate any watch time, any interaction. So please like the video if you liked it. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when my sniper support video comes up, as well as anything coming up from the update, new gun, whatever it is that we are getting soon. And like I said with the True Game Data, I'll also have my social medias linked down below, so please feel free to visit those. But I will see you on Rebirth Island and Caldera. Get frying. Have a good day. Bye.